DonInLondon, hello. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance over the years of addiction was alcohol, my behaviour trying to be whatever I thought and felt I ought to be, or what I thought and felt you wanted me to be. And I didn't really have a good idea as an individual or a child or as a young person growing up, or even as an adult, that I could have free choice. Why? Why didn't I not know that? Well, I just thought I had to get on with it. This particular video, one a day, more focused on the AA readings and how they help me on a daily basis. So I'm doing this one for September the 7th, and it's all about how to be in recovery, experience life through the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, the fellowship which seems to help me keep sober one day at a time, especially the people in it, and understanding the wisdom shared, and then experience, strength and hope I get from listening to others and living my life. So I'm in a learning process from now on until however many days I've got left, and I like that, I enjoy that, I love it, because it means on a daily basis I can make a little bit of progress. Never be perfect, and stop trying to be perfect. I reckon that was one of the ills that I had. We are all pushed and shoved all the way through our education, and society these days is making us look at trying to be the best at whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is something, I suppose, driving that, which maybe I don't necessarily agree with these days. And it's not about the material aspects anymore for me, and that's what I think I did for a long time, and I feel I was bamboozled by it, because there was never enough. And these days there's something about covering one's needs and wondering about the wants, I guess. We can want a lot of things, but we really need emotional, physical, and I guess some sort of spiritual well-being, and that's what the Fellowship of AA offers me as a way forward on a daily basis. So I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm never going to graduate, I'm only going to be me, and I have to live with me these days. Anyway, the literature of AA, I better say the AA preamble, the statement of intent, for newcomers and old-timers, or people in the middle like me, because it slows me down and puts some focus on what I'm doing here. So, Alcoholics Anonymous, this is the statement shared whenever I go to a meeting, and it goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, and I'm glad that's at the beginning of every meeting. AA provides me with the opportunity to find out who I am as a unique, authentic human being, and what I encounter in the rooms of AA are equally unique and authentic human beings, just finding what life is all about on a daily basis. And as we are all making progress, we're in different places, or trying to get to the same place, of just getting a bit of serenity on a daily basis, getting on with our lives, and I guess enjoying the joy and the sadness. Well, I don't know if you enjoy sadness, but it's to be able to experience joy, to be able to experience sadness as well, and not overly catastrophize things unless they are a catastrophe, but live life as it is and find some sort of acceptance in the day. And September is all about step 9 in the literature which I use, especially as it's the 9th month, 9th step. There are 12 steps and 12 months, so all about changing attitude and behaviour. So the build-up, if you like, to step 9 is having understood that we are powerless over alcohol. Life could be unmanageable again if I drank, that I might be restored to sanity on a daily basis these days, although I don't know how sane I was before, and letting go and letting the good in of what is life, doing a fearless moral inventory, the good and the bad of us. We need the assets and liabilities to get some balance in there, and then sharing it with another human being, so we get an understanding of what it is we've done and an honest look, and then looking at our areas of development, or sometimes called defects, and looking at our shortcomings, those things maybe we don't do enough of. So my defects, if you like: fear, putting on a brave face and ego; my shortcomings, lack of faith, lack of courage, lack of confidence. So if I can improve my courage, faith and confidence on a daily basis by knowing who I am and where I am today, and I learn on a daily basis who I am, then I'm making progress. So then step 8, making a list of amends, and then this month all about step 9, which is actually doing the amends if it's appropriate to do them without harming other people. I just want to read the first paragraph of step 8 because it relates with step 9. It says this, just a reminder: step 8 says, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Steps 8 and 9 are concerned with personal relations. First, we took a look backward and tried to discover where we have been at fault. Next, we make a vigorous attempt to repair the damage we have done. And third, having thus cleaned away the debris of the past, we consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with every human being we know. That's what it says in step 8. So it's making the list, and then in step 9 it says, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. And it says here, good judgment, a careful sense of timing, courage and prudence, these are the qualities we shall need when we take step 9. And the first paragraph here says, after we've made the list of people we have harmed, have reflected carefully upon each instance, and have tried to possess ourselves of the right attitude in which to proceed, we shall see that the making of direct amends divides into those we should approach into several classes. There will be those who ought to be dealt with just as soon as possible, as soon as we become reasonably confident that we can maintain our sobriety. There will be those to whom we can make only partial restitution, lest complete disclosures do them or others more harm than good. And there will be other cases where action ought to be deferred, and still others in which, by the very nature of the situation, we shall never be able to make direct personal contact at all. So we can't do some in some respects, but we need to know why and who. And the gift in all of that is we make some sense of life as we know it today. And it's an ongoing thing, and sometimes amends come out of nowhere when we realise we are due to share one, and best check it out with somebody else first before going on. Anyway, for September the 7th, which is, as I say, in the daily reflections all about step 9, it says here, our side of the street. We are there to sweep off our side of the street, realising that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so, never trying to tell him what he should do. His faults are not discussed, we stick to our own. So it's about our side of the street. And it goes on to say, I made amends to my dad soon after I quit drinking. My words fell on deaf ears, since I blamed him for my troubles. Several months later, I made amends to my dad again. This time I wrote a letter in which I did not blame him nor mention his faults. It worked, and at last I understood. My side of the street is all that I'm responsible for, and, thanks to God, all good conscience, and AA, it's clean for today. In other words, it stays clean for a day if you're lucky. And when I look back at my history and I look at how my father was, and he was an alcoholic, and I felt a great sense of disappointment and shame often about how he was. I didn't realise just how lonely he was all those years, and the anger and the rage that was inside him, and the feelings of less than he had, and what drove him. So these days I have a different outlook, if you like, and we did finally part on good terms, and he was very, very ill in his last few months. And I loved him, and I realised I could hate his behaviour, and the same is true of me and true of many people. And then we learn to behave better, and then we learn that sometimes we can make amends and sometimes we can't. It's just not practical or possible without harming. So in all this, the guidance is, like the Serenity Prayer, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and on a daily basis learn the wisdom to know the difference.